Welcome everybody to another game review. This time it's called Freeman Guerrilla Warfare. Now, if you're a fan of a game called Mountain Blade Warband, you're going to love this game. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'll show you what the new campaign looks like, but I already have a save file that I'm going to keep going on this because you can't have multiple saves at this point. So as of right now, I only have standard mode. I think if you beat the game, so fulfill, kill all the factions and own 10 places, then you should be able to get another mode, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll just enter a fake faction name, pick a fake logo, and then you get a bunch of different options for your faces. You can choose a male or a female. You got a bunch of different hair options and then hair color, and then obviously you just enter your name. But enough about that, we'll get into this. So as you can see, the map is similar to Mountain Blade Warband. It's just a top-down aerial view. You move your troops around. You can get a vehicle to move faster. The more troops you have, the slower you go. There's farms, there's cities. Each farm is going to have its own merchant that has various items. This one has some food, some cigarettes, a little bit of more food, gasoline, some discounted gold, which is great, which I'm going to actually buy. And then some other stuff. But each farm is going to have different things, so you're not going to want to count on one farm to always have discounted gold or always have gasoline or always have food or this or that, because they won't always have them. Each farm is also going to have recruits that you can hire, and as you deplete the pool, you have to wait for that pool to replenish before you can recruit from it again. In this case, I have taken over this city and I have a garrison of 40 people in it, so that's why I don't want to leave this game right now and start a new one, because I've actually worked to get this going, and I can actually trade with my own merchants, so I'm actually going to trade in some of that gold. And as you can see, each merchant has only a limited amount of gold down in the bottom left there, so you can only sell a certain amount there, and you're going to have to split up if you're selling in mass between a bunch of different merchants. In this case, I do the regular merchant and the equipment merchant. So, and then obviously sometimes all you have to do is just take a quick second and buy a couple of things of food or tea or gas or whatever to just even out the price so that you can get your money, instead of them saying, I don't have enough credits, we can't do business. So enough about trading for now. We'll get back to that later, more on combat. So as you can see, there's a bunch of enemy squadrons, or excuse me, platoons coming over the hill right now. It's 27 versus 24, as you can see in the top left. And currently I'm using an ACOG and a silencer on my rifle. There are other weapon classes such as SMGs and snipers and rocket launchers, pistols, things like that. But I prefer a rifle, so I'm just going to stick with that. And I don't have enough to buy a sniper rifle, so I can't buy that yet anyway. But the silencer really does a number on the damage that you do, as it does in any other game, but this one it does a serious amount. So as you can see, like, A, I can't hit for anything because it throws the aim off a lot, but B, when I do hit, it takes a lot of damage and a lot of bullets for them to go down. So I'm pretty much relying on my squads to help me out and finish them off, and I just do some damage to them. I noticed that it was on, so I took it off, and as you see here in a minute, I'm going to be doing a lot more damage, and I'm going to be a lot more accurate. Yeah, I'm going to be a lot more loud, but who cares? It's in the middle of the day. They know where I'm at. I'm not trying to be stealthy. Who cares? So bullet drop and tracking bullets in this is actually fairly difficult at first until you get the hang of it. Leading targets is fairly similar to games such as like Battlefield and PUBG, things like that. So if you're good with those, then you'll pick this up fairly quickly. Grenades are super useful. As you'll see, I threw that super duper far, so you want to make sure that you use those to your full advantage. That was about the range, like the length, maximum range about of what I could throw that grenade, so keep that in mind. That was about maybe, I don't know, 7,500 yards. And then night vision goggles, you're going to want to maybe pick these up super soon, but they're not super useful if you're surrounded by your men at long range like this. Because as you'll see, I'm not going to be able to track where my bullets land when all of their bullets impact around the same targets that I'm shooting at. So I'm used to being able to isolate a target. In this scenario, I was not very effective, and I ended up actually losing a lot of my men. So if you are going to use night vision goggles, you may consider using close quarters combat instead of long range, especially when surrounded by your men. But one thing is for sure, without the night vision goggles, I would not have spotted them on the hill, so they do give you an advantage at night, just not when aiming, per se. One thing that I failed to mention, you do want to pick up a scope early as you can, because iron sights in this are really crappy. So in this particular scenario, I'm outnumbered 65 to 42. They are sieging my town, and I'm sitting here trying to defend it. I have most of my all of my squads on auto combat, so that means they're going to maneuver around the town as they see fit and engage at will. But you can take a more hands-on approach if you want to. The compound is pretty big, so if you are going to do that, remember you're going to have to do some serious micromanaging, and anytime you pull up the map, the game doesn't quit, it continues, like it's still playing in the background. So if you pull up the map like I just did, make sure you're in cover, unlike I just did. One thing also, you can go into buildings, which is really nice, considering how big this compound is. You'll be able to move between buildings and use different covers. The doors, I don't know if they're going to ever patch it, but there's not an open or an action function on the doors, so just go through them and act like they're not even there, and you'll just walk straight into the building. Now, some buildings are laid out quite nicely with windows that are facing almost every direction, like this one, but they also come with fences that get in the way of semi-close range targets. So, buildings may not always be your best bet, but obviously they do offer you better cover than a bush or a fence with 5-foot holes in it. Back to trading. Anyway, so we have weapons dealers, equipment dealers, merchants, and then vehicles dealers. At the weapon dealer, obviously you get your weapons, your ammunition, they have grenades, and then sometimes they do have melee weapons such as the hatchet or the knife, and then med packs as well. You don't get a bonus, at least that I've noticed, from selling guns to the weapons merchant, so I'm not sure if it does or does not matter. I'll further investigate that later. One thing you want to do is, I was circling that deal button, you want to make sure that you definitely click that deal button, because if you don't, then everything that you've traded, you're going to have to retrade it. The equipment dealer, he has your armor, your goggles, sometimes he'll have binoculars, night vision goggles, things like that. Generally, those are going to be in the weapons dealer, though. And then the merchant, he's going to have your food. Sometimes he'll have med kits. He's going to have gasoline, flashlights, matches, things like that for quests and other things. And then the vehicles shop, obviously you can get a van, a truck, other things like that. I don't know what else you can get yet. I'm only a couple hours into the game. And then when you own a place, obviously you can build a bunch of different things. On the right under buildings is what I've already constructed, and then the ones that you're looking at there are what I could build. The garrison management's super easy. All you got to do is just click back and forth between them, and then as you can see on the top there, it has how many you can hold in your party and how many you can hold in the garrison. I was having trouble counting to 40 as I was trying to re-garrison my town there. And then you can recruit soldiers from your town. Once again, just like in villages, they will take time to recuperate. And if you don't have enough to buy a full squad, you can actually click off some of the squad mates, so that way it'll lower the price for you. And then if you're low on funds and you feel like pressing your luck, why not play some rounds of blackjack, right? So all you got to do is click gamble and then place your bet, and then you can see your credits up in the top left, and then when you hit quit, your money in the top right will recalculate to whatever you left at. You can donate to towns to increase your relationship by 20. I believe that helps with your trading and whatnot. Each town is going to have contracts that you can accept. Be careful, because you can only do, like, say you're doing several kill bandits at once. They all count down at once for the same timeline, but they only do one at a time, so you can only track one at a time. You have a quest log. It's really easy to see things, and then you go to your party and you can move your squads around, and you can upgrade them really easily. Just right click on them and then click their upgrade. They have different upgrade paths after you get them upgraded to a certain amount. To rearrange your squads, it's really simple. All you do is just click and drag down into the unused or unassigned units page, and then click over to a different squad, and then you can just drag and drop. Also, you can click the unit and then click on a squad and then drag and drop into it. I just like to do the unassigned, that way I can see what I'm working with and reorganize according to certain unit types. Also, you can see rename, change icon squad, disband, and reward troops. Rewarding troops gets your morale back up. As you see the numbers underneath the portraits on the party squads, the numbers of the morale, so 62 for my medic is the lowest currently, so I might want to reward them fairly soon. And every day you have to give them a salary, so make sure that you have enough money to accommodate them. If you have prisoners, you can torture them, you can execute them, you can bribe them with propaganda, and ultimately try and persuade them to join your party. And then finally, we have your inventory screen where you level up your skills and then manage your equipment, belt, and attachments on your weapons. It's really easy. Just right-click for most things to just attach it to your belt, and then there's in-game hotkeys for each item on your belt. As you see, I have my armor equipped and pants and shoes. You can get different ones from the equipment trader. And then equip those. Over on the infos tab, you have your factions and how hostile or friendly you are, what your stats are. And then what I actually really like is there's armor and helmet information, so it can tell you what kind of helmet is the best to go for. So anyway, I hope that you guys will check this game out. I know I certainly enjoy this game. I certainly hope that you guys will too. It's one that I've been playing for a few hours now, and I've been certainly just in love with it, like I fell in love with Mountain Blade Warband. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll see you next time, guys.